Have you been doing the same thing over and over again and you're like, it's just not working? If you're a handmade artisan and you're selling online, you are in the right place. Welcome to the Handmade Daily. My name is Lena and I'm the very proud owner of madeit.com.au, the home to over 900 Australian artisans selling through the platform, but more than selling through the platform, they're part of a community, and it's a community where we share and we grow and we evolve together. So today I want to talk about this idea of letting go of not what's not working, not what's not working. And I think there's a few things that we need to kind of layer on top here to sort of get a really good understanding of what that might be. But just first up, if something is really not working for you and it's not based on measurements, it's not based on anything, it's just purely on your gut, then I'm officially giving you permission to let it go. If you're like, it just doesn't feel right, then I'm always a big believer that you listen to your intuition. But if you're sort of like swaying around and you're going, oh, not sure, not sure, not sure, it means that you probably need a little bit more information before you make that decision. So when we're talking about trying anything, and let's say in particular with sales, right, you might be selling in a market, you might be using a particular strategy with your Facebook posts or posting in a group or something. I think whenever we're trying something like that, we want to be able to give it at least a season. And so this is my personal philosophy on this, but we are seasonal creatures, right? Quite naturally. And I think in order to be able to see whether or not something is working, we want to make sure that we're giving it 90 days, but 90 days of consistency. So let's say you're like, oh, Facebook posts in a group aren't working, and you've posted 3 random posts without any strategy at different times or whatever, then that is what I would say is not working. It's kind of like the erratic nature in which you're approaching it. But if you have gone, you know what, I'm going to put a post up every Thursday night at 7 p.m. without fail, and you've done it for 3 months consistently and you've not seen any growth, then it's kind of time to go, well, hey, is it time to let it go? Now, notice I said in there that you haven't had any growth. This is one of those things that I'm a big believer in measuring. I think while I'm a very creative soul, I also have quite an analytic mind, which means that I really can see how you can use measurements and numbers as a way for you to be able to affirm whether or not something's working. And it's all about that space of being able to track what you're doing. So when we're talking about, say, let's just use the Facebook post as an example, right? There's a few different ways in which we can measure it. Of course, it could be about the likes that you get. I mean, to me, honestly, those likes can be quite superficial. It's really more about comments. It's about clicks, people that are actually clicking on the post if there's a link. But it's also about what's the engagement that you're actually creating from there. I think an interesting thing to keep in mind when we're talking about, say, Facebook posts within a group is about making sure that you're putting content in there that makes sense. So if we're talking about you needing to let go of something, right? Maybe you need to let go of creating generic posts which are all about selling and have no opportunity for the customer to connect with you. Maybe that's the part that you need to let go of rather than the whole aspect completely. But I do think that it's important that we keep measuring and tracking everything. You know, I've been going with YouTube now for, it'll be coming up, I think, 9 months that I've been super active on YouTube. And it's really been tricky, like really trying to unlock what is it that you do? How do you get it there? And one of the biggest things that has really worked, which is kind of like 101 that you'll hear from most YouTube people when they start out, but it's about creating that daily content and being really consistent with it. And what's interesting with that is that when I drop off or I lose a day or two, it's like the momentum goes backwards a bit and I'm like, oh, okay. Now, I've been doing this for longer than a season, but I'm looking at the tracking, I'm looking at the amount of time that's actually watched on the videos, and I'm like, there's something here. There's something happening and I want to keep going with this. Is it skyrocketing the results that I'm getting? No and yes. So no, not in the tech, like not in the subscribers. That's kind of like quite slow and steady. But in my ability to be able to create, I think, good content, you can let me know in the comments, but really riff off kind of one idea has grown exponentially. And it's really tricky to actually put a value on that. But for me, I know there's a part of me, it's over here, I think it's more over here, that's saying, just keep going. So take a moment to listen to your intuition with something that it is you're working on. And it could even be your product offering that you're like, is this really working? Well, before we cut it off at the knees, let's go through those steps. Are you measuring? Are you being consistent? Are you showing up at a certain level? And have you kept going with the same idea for at least a season? That's it for me today, and the Handmade Daily is here Monday to Friday at 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you in the comments. Have a great day. Bye.